A few months ago, I started feeling constant fatigue and pain in my neck and underarms, with hard swellings. Initially thinking it was stress, I went to the doctor who sent me for tests. After a biopsy and CT scan, I was diagnosed with lymphoma.
You might be surprised to know that the umbrella term, blood cancer, includes over 150 different types of cancer. Each has unique prognoses, symptoms, and courses of treatment. Over 1 million Americans either have blood cancer or are in remission from it. Cancers that originate in the bone marrow or the lymphatic system can be categorized in a variety of ways. Let's examine the most prevalent blood cancers in each classification. Lymphoma is a type of blood cancer that originates in the lymphatic system, which is a crucial part of the body's immune system. The disease involves infection-fighting cells called lymphocytes, found in the lymph nodes, spleen, thymus, bone marrow, and other body parts. There are two types of lymphocytes, T cells and B cells. Lymphoma occurs when either type grows and multiplies uncontrollably. Classification. There are two main types of lymphoma, Hodgkin lymphoma and non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Hodgkin lymphoma is an uncommon form of lymphoma marked by the presence of rare large cells which are called Reed-Sternberg cells. It typically begins in the lymph nodes of the neck, chest, or underarms and spreads predictably to other lymph nodes. It is highly treatable, with a high survival rate when detected early. Non-Hodgkin lymphoma is more common than Hodgkin lymphoma but still relatively rare. It includes any lymphocyte cancer that doesn't involve Reed-Sternberg cells. Due to the vast number of patients and pathological variants of malignant cells, non-Hodgkin lymphoma encompasses a diverse group of blood cancers. The disease can occur at any age and be indolent, slow-growing, or aggressive. There are over 80 subtypes of non-Hodgkin lymphoma, with the most common being diffuse large B-cell lymphoma is the most common type of non-Hodgkin lymphoma. It is aggressive but often treatable. Follicular lymphoma grows slowly but can transform into a more aggressive form of lymphoma over time. Mantle cell lymphoma has characteristics of both indolent and aggressive lymphomas. It is often diagnosed at an advanced stage. Burkitt lymphoma is a fast-growing, aggressive type of non-Hodgkin lymphoma most common in children and young adults. It is associated with the Epstein-Barr virus. Causes and risk factors. Lymphoma, like all cancers, results from DNA mutations that cause cells to grow uncontrollably and live longer than normal. These mutations specifically affect lymphocytes, leading them to accumulate in the lymph nodes and lymphatic system, forming tumors and impairing function. The exact cause of these mutations is unknown, but several risk factors have been identified. Age. Hodgkin and non-Hodgkin lymphoma can occur at any age. However, the risk of non-Hodgkin lymphoma increases with age, with about half of the cases diagnosed in people over 65. Hodgkin lymphoma has two age peaks, one in young adults and another in older adults. Gender. Men are generally more likely to develop both Hodgkin and non-Hodgkin lymphoma compared to women. Persistent exposure to infections like Epstein-Barr virus, HIV, and Helicobacter pylori, along with immunodeficiency conditions such as leukemia and multiple myeloma, weakens immune surveillance and increases the risk of lymphoma. Chronic immune disbalance, for example, rheumatoid arthritis or systemic lupus erythematosus, receiving radiotherapy and chemotherapy. Exposure to chemicals such as pesticides, herbicides, and certain industrial chemicals. Symptoms. Lymphoma symptoms may vary depending on the type and location of the cancer. Common symptoms include swollen lymph nodes, often painless and located in the neck, armpits, or groin. Fever of unknown origin. Unexplained weight loss. Drenching sweats, particularly at night. Itching without an apparent cause. Persistent fatigue. Diagnosis. The diagnosis of lymphoma includes clinical examination for swollen lymph nodes, enlarged spleen, or liver identification. Blood tests, including a complete blood count, to assess uncontrolled lymph node cell growth. Lymph node biopsy is the removal of lymph node tissue for examination under a microscope to look for cancer cells. Bone marrow biopsy is performed to determine if lymphoma has spread to the bone marrow. Additionally, doctors may recommend imaging studies, such as CT scans, PET scans, and magnetic resonance imaging, to detect the presence and extent of lymphoma. Treatment. Lymphoma is treated in hundreds of clinics worldwide using various approaches and equipment. However, not everyone knows that the cost of treatment in different countries can vary widely, even with the same high level of quality. For example, procedures such as stem cell transplant or allogeneic bone marrow transplantation can cost twice as much in UAE and China as in Turkey and Colombia, but half as much as in Germany and Israel. In order to find the appropriate treatment conditions in advanced clinics around the world, we created the Doctor.Global service. The platform is designed to help people get a second or third opinion, choose the best clinic location, or find the right cost and treatment date. We act as an involved mediator, helping to obtain comprehensive information from clinics, translating and organizing the patient's medical records in any language, and enabling the patient to make a meaningful choice of clinic or doctor. Follow the QR code link and describe your case. We will contact you back for confirmation and immediately start searching for treatment options, considering all your wishes. Nothing is more valuable and important to us than your health. The lymphoma treatment strategy depends on the type, stage, and the patient's overall health. In general, lymphoma is considered to be very treatable. Some of the lymphomas grow very slowly and it may not be necessary to start treatment right away. Active surveillance, or watchful waiting, is often the best option. Chemotherapy is a common treatment, uses cytotoxic drugs to disrupt the rapid division and proliferation of cancer cells. Radiation therapy via techniques include external beam radiation therapy, EBRT, and involved field radiation therapy, IFRT, used to kill or shrink cancer cells. Immunotherapy supports the immune system to find cancer cells more quickly by marking pathological receptors. Targeted therapy explores drugs that target specific molecules involved in the growth and survival of cancer cells, and it is highly effective. Stem cell transplant replaces diseased bone marrow with healthy stem cells, either from the patient or a donor. Surgery is rarely used in lymphoma, but may be necessary to remove a localized tumor or relieve symptoms. Procedures can include lymph node excision or splenectomy. Prognosis. Significant progress has been made in treating lymphoma, achieving remission, and helping patients return to a normal life. The prognosis for lymphoma varies widely depending on the type, stage, and response to treatment. 5-year survival rate. Hodgkin lymphoma, the 5-year survival rate is about 87%. Non-Hodgkin lymphoma, the 5-year survival rate varies significantly with the subtype of NHL. For instance, for patients with diffuse large B-cell lymphoma it is around 60%, while for follicular lymphoma, it can be up to 90%. Hope you have learned something useful today. Do not forget to like this video and share with your friends. We sincerely wish good health and success to you all.